motor on or off control, right? By using latch. So what does it mean by latching? We need to make our output continuously on even when I turn off my input. That is your latch. So is this type of latching is required in our application? If it is required, can anyone tell me where we are using that latch application in our regular life? Just try to think of. Very important for industrial point of view, for our interviews also. This project is very important. Even though it should be looks like very simple, but it should be very important. Everyone have to be know it. The two lines of the programming that will creates a lot of difference between one to another, because making continuity of our motor in on condition, even your turn off your input, even your turn off your input means, see, we are having one switch, let us think, right? And there is a one motor. Now what should we do? While switch on, your motor is in on condition, correct? So while you switch off, your motor is in off condition. Nothing but in our PLC ladder programming, let us take, this is your rung. Remember the terminology of PLC. Okay, this is your rung. This is your NO switch. This is your output coil. Your output coil is your motor. Okay, now here I am giving some input of X, and here your output is some 0, or it should be some Y. Now if you turn on this, that is case 1. If you turn on, what should the condition of your Y? On or off? What is the value or the state of your output?
Off.
If you are turning on, if you are turning on of your NO, if you're turning on this switch, then what about your output?
On off motor.
No, no. What is the state of your motor? Whether it should be in on condition or whether it should be in off condition. There is
On
only
condition.
On condition.
on condition. Right. So that means your motor is in on condition. Now, after a particular period of time, you turn off your input switch. That is your X. Your NO is now turn off. Then what is the state of your output? Nothing but your motor state. What is the state of motor now? It should be in on condition or off condition.
Off.
It should be in off condition. So it should be very clear for all of us. Now what they are saying, use latch and maintain your motor continuously on condition. Even though you are turn off your ఇన్పుట్ అంటే ఈ ఇన్పుట్ మీరు ఆఫ్ చేసిన తర్వాత కూడా మీ మోటార్ స్టేట్ ఆన్లో ఉండాలి. దట్ ఈస్ అవర్ టార్గెట్ అప్లికేషన్. ఈజ్ ఇట్ పాసిబుల్ ఇన్ రియల్ టైమ్? దిస్ ఈస్ అవర్ latching condition. Is it possible? Just to try to think of if it's possible where we are using that application, where it is useful. Just to think of, we are using that. Everyone know that application. That's why I'm asking you people. If you don't know, I don't want to waste time and I don't want to ask you. but everyone know that application. That's why I'm asking to all of you, just to think of.
Sir, elevators.
Elevators. No, elevators in the sense how we are using that. Elevators, okay, but how we are using that? If you switch off your elevator, is it going to stop or still it's in running condition? Our intention is we need to have here latching in the sense we need to have one on switch and one off switch, right? One on, one off. So if you make it as an on condition, it will be in on condition, your motor, right? So if you make it off, then it will be in off condition. But here the thing is, if you press this again, nothing but it will be off condition. Your NO will be repressing that it will be in off condition. But during that time, it won't disturb the condition of your motor. That is the our condition point where the interview people will ask to you, I am having separate two switches to control the motor. That is one is on switch, another one is off switch, right? But here my intention was that while I am turning on our NO, our motor will be start as usual. But while I am turning off my NO switch, it will not going to disturb the case of your motor. It will be going still on condition. While I am pressing the off switch, then only the motor will be going to off. Like this, they will ask. And where we are using these applications and how we can program it. Right? The question is very clear for all of you. First
Sir,
time.
once repeat the question, sir.
Yeah, sure. See here, what they will ask, I have one motor. Now I need to control that motor. Okay. So here I have one on switch. This is my motor. And I have another off switch. Let us think of. Okay. Same motor. Let us think. So if I turn on this NO, as usual, what should going to happen? Motor is in on condition. Now they will ask, if I want to turn off motor, I can use this switch to turn off motor. But if anyone presses this switch again, that means repressing of NO in the sense it will be in off state, right? సో ఈ స్విచ్ ఆఫ్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు ఈ మోటార్ ఏమవుతుంది యాజ్ పర్ అవర్ నాలెడ్జ్ ఆఫ్ అయిపోతుంది కరెక్ట్ సో వాట్ ద పీపుల్ ఆర్ ఆస్కింగ్ దట్ ఇట్ వోంట్ గోయింగ్ టు డిస్టర్బ్ ద మోటార్ కండిషన్స్ వన్స్ ఇట్ షుడ్ బి గెటింగ్ ఆన్ ఆఫ్టర్ ఎనీ టైమ్ యూ కెన్ ప్రెస్ ఇట్ either on or off a number of times you are pressing this switch it will not at all going to disturb your output that means motor is still in on condition until you press the second switch to off the motor understand now.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now this is the application. If we can do that program, that is nothing but your latch. That is maintaining of output continuously on. Even you remove the input. That means input output relation మనం కట్ చేసిన తర్వాత కూడా output will be still in on condition. To turn off the output, we need to make the another toggle switch. Either NO or NC, it should be our dependency. Now my question was that anyway I will give the program just you need to think of where we are using like these applications. That's what my question, where we are using in real time like this. That means is it really useful in our regular life or not? That's what my question. That's it. Useful or not, the answer is obviously yes. Now my question is where we are using in our regular life. We are using it. That's why I'm stressing. We are using it. Regular everyone are using this mostly 90% of the today participants are using this daily. daily or maybe twice or 2 days, once per 2 days or once per 3 days. But sure, everyone are come across with this application in your regular life. Just to think of how the industry people will think.
Sir, push buttons of a motor, sir.
Very good, very good. Push buttons. It should be push buttons. Very good. No? So, where we are using push buttons in our home? To turn on our water pump, right? So, how many categories we are using in our home? One is which color? Green.
Red and green.
Right. So the green push button, if you turn on, what should going to happen? Your motor is in on condition, right? But once it should be pressed, it will be in on condition, correct? Again, if you press that, is it going to stop?
Yes, sir.
No. If you pressing green button, how many times? There is no state will be going to change once the motor is turned on. You can check at your home. Once if you press this red button, then only it will be in off condition. Understand? If you don't have any try, you can try it at your home. Once if you press on for first time, your motor is in on condition. If you turn on for second time, there is no change in your motor. It will be still in on condition only. If you press third time, there is no change. It will be still in on condition. If you press 100 times, there is no change of state of your motor. Once it should be getting started. So, but if you press one time your red switch, then it will be going to turn off. Understand now? Now we will try to build this programming in our PLC. Now the problem statement is clear for everyone. Shall we move on to the PLC programming software?
Yes, sir.
Good. I will share the software. One second. Right. Now check. It should be visible to everyone. WPL software.
Visible.
Yeah. Good. Now, how many inputs? Where it is? One NO. One second. Somewhere it should be getting stuck in my laptop. Right. Okay. So our input switch, right? NO I taken, and my output. Output in the sense F7, one output, one input, right? But here we need to give the latching circuit now. So latch, and then we also need the off switch, right? Turn on and turn off a switch. One second. So turn off in the sense we need to take NO as our X1, right? And then output, one on switch, one off switch, and our motor, that is Y not. Now just I will check. Now this is not your latching. Again, what should happen? Okay, now this is not your latching, but we will check the output once. How it will be? One on switch, one off switch, and our motor. We will run and check this. So code, and then our simulation mode, and then online. See here, it should be showing the program is not consistent with PLC. Do you want to download the current opened program to PLC? That means already whatever the program, I think earlier we did it with the staircase lamp arrangement. That is one lamp controlled by two switches. That program is already stored in the PLC. Now it asking that whether you wanted to rewrite that program. So therefore here I am saying yes. But in industry, they won't allow you people to rewrite the program. So here run PLC, done. So see here, NC is by default, it should be non condition. So now here I am going to turn on my motor on switch. Your X0 is turn on switch and X1 is turn off switch. So once it should be turned on, what should going to happen? Our output is it on or off? Why not?
On, sir.
On, right. Now your input is in on condition, input in the sense X0, right? Therefore your motor is in on condition. That's fine. And what is the condition now? If I turn off, here we will check as a regular procedure. If I make this red switch into off condition, then your motor is in off condition. That will be also satisfied, right? But the third condition was that it should be remains in same. But if you turn off this green button, then your motor is still in on condition. Whether it is possible or not with this circuit, we will check. Now if you turn off your input switch, nothing but your turn on switch, then your output will become as 0. That means latching is not applicable here, right? So then we need to remodify the program. So here I will get back. So here I am taking another one with the latching motor control. So how many inputs we are having? Two inputs, one turn on switch, one turn off switch. X naught and one off switch. NC taken. Always remember the stop button will be in NC. No need to confuse in that. Always on switch is in NO. So now here I am going to apply the latching. So latching, how latching in the sense your output will be still on even though you are turn off your X0. So that means whatever the address of your output, you need to make it as a duplicate, nothing but your memory here. So here I am taking one NO with the address of output. Okay, now what I did, only two inputs and one output as per our circuit. That is one turn on switch, one turn off switch, and our output nothing but motor. Now, here what I did, my output state I am applied to my input, right? So now we will check. This is your duplicate, nothing but your memory. Here I am going to given. Now here I am going to check this whether it should be applicable or not. So code, there is no errors, compiling is complete. Simulator is in on condition now and making this program into my hardware PLC, right? So your NC by default it will be on. And you have to run the command, right? Now if I turn on my switch, that is X0, that is my input on switch, if it is on, what about why not? State of why not? On or off? Motor on switch, nothing but remember this X0 is your green button. This X1 is your red button. Okay, this is your motor. Now I am pressing green push button. So what is the position of Y0 now? If I press,
On state.
so it should be in on state. Done. Don't think about this Y0. This is the duplication. Okay, this is your memory binary value. So if you turn on your regular green button, the motor is in on condition. Now go for red button. Then you may have some questions, or if I again press it second time, what should going to happen? Press it, no problem. That means set off. What about the state of your motor? Even though your input is in off condition, is it on or off? Your motor.
On.
Now I hope it should be clearly understood. Now I want to press it again. Set on. Again, set off. Again, set on. Again, set off. So how many times you did? Nothing to happen to your motor state. It will remain same. Since it will be disconnected once it should be turn on your motor, because we are provided the latch, nothing but the output address we are giving to your input switch to the on turn on condition. So now my intention was to turn off. That means we need to press this once because it is NC. So we need to set on. So your output will be in off state. Understand now? Done for everyone. So note down this as a latching. Very important for your interview point of view. And for your technical knowledge also, it should be important. Latching circuit in our electrical domain. How we are writing PLC program for our regular usage of green button and push buttons. Green and red push buttons. Because in industries we are using only push buttons only, not our toggle switches. Okay, that's why this program should be important. Done for all of you. Shall I get back to whiteboard? Just in order to extend this latching program into a beautiful program, nothing but to make consumer comfortable, we need to give some glow lamps, which switch is in on, which switch is in off. Nothing but the state of motor, we need to give the indication to the consumer. Very simple. Once the latching is understood, it should be very clear. And we can write later remaining programs. So we can also call it as an holding circuit. That means it just holding your output rather than making immediate switch off. Now our intention is to make more user friendly. We need to make it as a consider this motor controlled by the stop and start button switches. And for that we need to apply a signal light. That means we need to give one light signal should be turned on when power is applied to the motor, and another signal light where power is turned off. Nothing but by pressing the red push button. It should be off condition. It's showing that red light should be going to on. So how we are making that green light and that corresponding red color light. Done this, shall I move on to whiteboard now?
Yes, sir.
Now see what we did our latching. This is your green push button. This is your red push button. Apply to your output, nothing but your motor. This is our supply rung in our PLC programming. So here I applied the latching. Right, let us take this as the address of this one is x0, address of this one is x1, address of this one is y0. The same address I applied here, that is y0. Now until this, the latching circuit is completed. Now what my intention was that in order to provide two signal lights to give the indication of the state of the motor. That means another input required to turn on your signal light. This is your signal light for motor on condition, nothing but in green color. So in order to turn on this signal light, we need the switch. Here we did not going for another input. Okay, remember, with the use of these two input switches only, we are making entire program for this output. There is no additional switches. No, always remember it should be only the internal circuitry. So here x0 and x1. All right. So now, so when the green light should be going to on, our intention, when this green light is going to on, by pressing which switch?
X0.
X0. So you need to give in the programming the address of this is x0. Understand now? There is no x2, x3. The same address you need to give. Similarly, another signal light to show the switch off condition of your motor. Okay. Now what is address of this input switch for this signal light? Red color signal light. It should be
X1.
x1 done. Okay, understand? Now it should be user friendly. So the persons without any,
Sir, X1 is NC switch code.
sorry, ma? Yeah, your x1 is okay, okay, okay. Yeah, understand, understand. Here just I want to convey the addresses. Okay. Now it should be clearly understood how we are making our latching programming into our user friendly, consumer friendly equipment in PLC programming. So is it understand by everyone? Our push
Yes, sir.
buttons, right? So in the next session, you people will try. Okay, I will give another problem statement. So you people will try and come back. So note down. Simulation of controlling the motor to run forward when forward button is pressed, run reverse when reverse button is pressed. Run reverse when reverse button is pressed. Press forward button, it should be make to rotate in forward direction. Next, press a reverse button, it should be move on to reverse direction. Continued by press stop button, it will going to stop your motor. Understand? Here just one more input is there. So problem statement is clear to everyone. The controlling the motor to run forward when forward button